Hey everyone, UFC Fight Night Holloway versus Korean Zombie just wrapped up. It was an amazing fight card, I thought. It took place in Singapore. There were 13 fights. And yeah, let's just, I guess, hop right into it. First fight we had was Song Woo Choi versus Jarno Errens. I thought it was an okay fight. Typical Song Woo Choi fight where, just lot of big right hands. Of course, it's not a Song Woo Choi if he gets dropped badly, but he managed to win it by the decision. I think he won the first and third. He lost the second, of course, because he got dropped. Um, but yeah, that's that fight, I guess. Do you have anything to say about that one?
No, no, well deserved.
Yeah, I thought so too. But again, he had that scary moment in the second round. Don't want to really talk about JJ Aldrich versus Liang, to be honest, but I think they need to get rid of that Liang. I think it's like her third fight in a row she lost. So I guess they can get rid of her. Um, let's talk about the next fight. We had Billy Goff versus Yusaku Kinoshita. Um, this was Billy Goff won this one the first round. He won by KO to the body. I thought it was a little unfortunate because Yusaku was doing really well. He was landing at will. Billy Goff looked like he was hurt a couple of times. His head was snapping back, and it looked like Kinoshita was just about to, if not put him away, drop him or hurt him really badly. But then he gets hurt with that right hand to the body, and it was over. But yeah, a good fight. Let's move on to the next one. Again, don't really have much to say about Song Kenan versus Rolando Bedoya. I thought it was a simple decision win for Song. He was faster, he was landing the bigger punches. Rolando did land here and there, but I thought Song was circling well. He was kicking the leg well, if you remember. Um, so he wins. He's now 1-1 in the UFC. I think this is Rolando now second loss in a row, right? He lost to the Ox before.
Yeah,
They,
that was in January or February.
I think they kind of like sacrificed him to Chaos Williams, right? Uh, but yeah, let's move on to the next one. This one was not how didn't go how I expected it to go. Michal Oleksiejczuk finishes Chidi and Njokuani in the first round. I thought, and I think as well as you thought, that Chidi would be able to, if not put him away, at least beat him by decision. But Michal just, you know, he did take some big punches. He did take a knee, if you remember, at one point. Michal
He ate a head kick.
head kick, sorry, head kick, and then he ate the knee. Then he ate like 3, 4 elbows in a row. But the guy just managed to, he just ate everything and came back, walked Chidi down, hit him with a big two, and ground and pound KO.
Yeah, I mean, they both needed a win, especially I think Chidi. I think he was probably more under pressure to win. He lost to Derive in the fight before. He lost to Rodriguez, which Rodriguez, I don't know if you remember, was the recipient of that unibrow. That was Chidi. I mean, Chidi does possess tremendous power.
Yeah.
I think it might be the heart, or maybe a little bit of IQ. He tried to do this throw, like a weird throw. I don't know if you noticed, like a lateral throw. Whatever he tried to do, he ended up on the bottom. Michal didn't want to stay on the ground. He signaled that he wants to continue fighting on the feet. So.
Yeah.
But Michal also needed a win. I think he wants to establish himself in this division. He looked small though, like right. He looked like his arms looked thin and his leg looks thin, but he was fast. He had good footwork, and he showed heart. I mean, I did have a bit of a problem. I don't know if you did with the stoppage. I think it was, I think the hammer fists were landing on the shoulders and the forearms, but
Yeah.
if Chidi is not protesting, I'm not protesting.
Yeah,
So
so I was gonna say, the right hand, the hand that the big right hand that he hit him with was clean. It dropped him clean. The follow-up shots were, yeah, if you go back in it, they all hit the arms and they all hit the shoulder. But again, Chidi was kind of curled up.
He wasn't wiggling. He wasn't
scrambling.
doing.
He
He was just.
wasn't. He didn't look like he was. He didn't look very lively. He didn't look like he wanted to continue. And I think that the referee noticed that and thought like, hey, he doesn't want it anymore, so I'm just gonna stop this. I didn't have a problem
Yeah,
with
that's
it.
too bad.
I was saying the
He's a
arms,
really
but
talented guy.
yeah.
Too bad.
Yeah, but yeah, again, he shocked us, Michal Oleksiejczuk. It's funny, yeah, because you say he did look a little small. This is coming from a guy who actually came from light heavyweight, so who knows? Maybe he might even get into shape and go into welterweight. I don't know. We'll see. But the guy has a chin. He goes forward. He's fun to watch. But let's move on to the next fight. We had Garrett Armfield versus Toshiomi Kazama. Another Japanese guy loses today. Garrett Armfield just, I mean, I think you could tell right away from the start of this fight that Armfield was going to beat him. That's how it felt like to me. Like the first 20 seconds, I was like, okay, like he's going to put him away. He just kept walking him down. He kept landing big combinations, big 1-2s. Kazama just, I felt like had nothing for him at all. In any aspect of stand up, or I don't think he went for any takedowns if I'm not mistaken. I think Armfield just beat him everywhere and finally put him away. Don't really have much to say about this fight, to be honest.
Well, no, nothing to say. Yeah, it was all lopsided completely.
Yeah, pretty lopsided. Let's move on to the next one. We had Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Lukasz Brzeski. I'm sorry, guys.
Probably Brzeski.
I don't know. I feel like everyone
Probably.
I feel like there's a million ways people say it. Brzeski, even though there's no E before the Z, but
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, Waldo Cortes-Acosta, you could tell again from the start of this fight, you could tell he was faster, he hit a lot harder, he was a lot more accurate. And that combination that put him out in the end, I mean, the way Lukasz just fell forward, was pretty brutal, face planted. Yeah, I mean,
The guy, yeah, he hits hard, man. He hits hard. I don't know how him and Marcos Rogério de Lima lasted 3 rounds.
Yeah.
His previous fights with Chase Sherman and Jared Vandara also went the distance. But this time he probably he showed. I mean, he showed. I'm glad he did, because he does have that talent. I don't think anybody doubted that this is not going to go to distance. Yeah, good win for him. Good win for him. Lukasz, I don't know what to say for Lukasz. Reckless, maybe. I think he should have avoided these type of brawls, I think. But
I don't know, it might be time for him to go, because he's also, I think this is his 3rd loss in a row now. So not really sure if there's much for him to do there. But yeah, Waldo Cortes, I wonder if he can cause some problems in the heavyweight division. The heavyweight division is not super talented. I think they're not super technical. So with his skills, he might be able to get up to top 10, top 5 even. Who knows? I mean, a guy like Tai Tuivasa, yeah, he hits hard, but he's not very technical. I think Waldo might be even more technical than him. So we'll see. We'll see where he goes from here. Let's move on to the next one. The next fight, it was another first round KO. Junior Tafa knocks out Parker Porter. I think in pretty brutal fashion, right? Junior Tafa rocks him, and then he gives Parker Porter a big knee. Parker Porter is again rocked, and then just big hooks, and then finally a big hook puts him away, right? It was a hook, or what was it? It was a uppercut, or
uppercut, yeah.
Oh yeah, left. I forgot exactly what it was, but Parker Porter goes down pretty badly. And it ended like in the first minute and a half, and that's all she wrote. Junior Tafa took no damage. It was flawless from him.
Yeah, it was really good. Parker Porter didn't get a chance to avenge the loss to Junior's older brother, Justin Tafa.
Yeah.
So that didn't work out, and might be time for Parker Porter to go. Also, I think he has, I don't know how many losses he has. He lost to Just. Oh no, he did have a win, I think, in between brothers. So he might have had a win. So he might end up. They might end up giving him another chance. But I didn't think he showed anything really
Yeah, he
Um,
really did show nothing. Yeah, and Junior Tafa, you were talking about Michal being a little skinny. I thought Junior Tafa looked skinny, but it said he weighed 255, so definitely not a small guy, even though he looks thin. But yeah, again, flawless performance. Let's move on to the next fight. This was Erin Blanchfield versus Tyler Santos. I initially remember Tyler Santos, I think, winning the first round. I thought she was doing okay,
she definitely won the first round. That's
even in the second round, I thought she was doing well. But if you remember Erin Blanchfield, or sorry, Tyler Santos, I believe she had Erin Blanchfield against the cage. She had like an over and under. She tried to do like some sort of lateral drop or something like that. Tyler Santos ended up just falling straight on her back, and Erin Blanchfield had her controlled that second round because of that. I think that lost Tyler Santos the fight, if you remember that. She kind of just fell backwards. Erin Blanchfield controlled that fight, that round, won that round. And then the third round, she kind of just held her against the cage. It was throwing little knees. So
I think I think Erin was a little better in the second, a little better on the third.
yeah.
But he was a lot worse in the first.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she was
The way it scored, it's I think it's fair that she
was yeah,
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
29-28. So they had to have given Santos the first round, which of course makes sense because she
Yeah.
landed more. If you saw Erin Blanchfield was all swollen, she had her nose was cut. So it was definitely Santos was doing well, but then I think she made that mistake and it kind of changed the trajectory of the fight, if that's how you say it, right? Or the momentum
Yeah.
shifted, I guess, towards Erin.
I don't know. You know, Erin showed hard. I honestly expected more from Tyler. I thought she'd, you know, just given her size and strength advantage, I thought she would be more dominating. But yeah, I'm happy for Erin. That's
But
win win.
But yeah, I like Tyler, and again, she did defend 14 out of 14 takedowns, right? So you know, it was a big story coming into the fight. Will she be able to defend? You know, it was all about Erin's Blanchfield's wrestling, but she defended everything.
Yeah, but Erin
So
kept coming. It kept coming, kept coming, kept coming.
yeah,
She just kept tying her up. It was a gruesome fight.
yeah, she
It
held her
wasn't
against,
really like spectacular in a way. It was just very technical, very gruesome, very hard win for her.
yeah. But we'll see. I don't know if she gets the title shot off this. I know that Manon is fighting Rose, I think actually next week, right? In France.
Yeah,
So
that's in France. Yeah.
that's probably if it's probably it's between those three, right? Like Erin, Rose, and Manon. But
Um,
thought it was an okay fight, especially for a women's fight. So I guess we could just move on now to Rinya Nakamura versus Fernie Garcia. Rinya Nakamura wins by decision. Of course, Rinya Nakamura was you know, everyone's talking about him. I think he was like a minus 900 favorite. I thought he looked good. I would have liked to see a little more boxing from him. We saw he had a nice single leg in the first. And in the second, third round, he kind of just cruised his way to a decision with those body kicks and leg kicks from the southpaw side. But
good wrestling. Like
I
he
don't
was
know.
stacking his wrestling very well. Like very well. I mean, I think some mistakes, maybe if you want to call them, if you want to really be picky and on the ground, like when he would try to do a north-south choke, like there was an arm there, but he was kept going for it. There was no, but he let go on time. Yeah, it's just minor mistakes on the ground, I think, but
Yeah,
overall he's really good.
he
He didn't
definitely needs
slow
to.
down.
Yeah, he definitely needs to work on the jujitsu for sure. He's great at controlling, but yeah, he was almost had the north south. He just needed to through push the right hand over to his left, I guess, rib cage, or get rid of it
Or
completely.
get rid of it completely, like just go
And
for the
then he had a straight arm lock, which I personally am not a fan of. Again, I've never pulled it off or had it done against me, so I'm not really too familiar about what he should have done. I personally would have just abandoned it, maybe got it into a crucifix and thrown some elbows.
yeah.
But
He was
definitely,
almost there. Like it appeared that he was going for crucifix, but he he wasn't going for it. Yeah.
But yeah, he's new to the sport. He is this is his eighth fight, but I think now that he's in the UFC, he's only going to get better and better. And if he cleans up his boxing and works a bit on the jiu-jitsu, he could definitely be a problem. But let's move on to the next fight: Giga Chikadze versus Alex Caceres. A little shocked, to be honest. So they gave Giga Chikadze a 30-27, right? He won. All the judges gave him all 3 rounds. I personally thought Alex Caceres won. Now, I could see, of course, Giga Chikadze winning. This is not a robbery at all, guys. I definitely could see Giga Chikadze winning, but I don't think he won all 3 rounds. I thought Alex Caceres won the first and the third. Looking back at it, I could see how it's very close, and you can give it to Giga, but it was just weird. It was a little weird how they all gave.
I think
Three judges gave all 3 rounds.
Personally, I think maybe it was more of a visual for the judges, because Giga was in fact landing harder punches, and you could see, okay, maybe the kicking game they were kind of even on the kicking game, but as far as boxing, as far as landing, arm strikes, or whatever you want to call them, the punches, he was Giga was a little better, and you could see, a couple of times, 6 times, probably 7 times, where you could see Alex Caceres' head snap back, and that's usually not a good visual. We didn't see anything. I mean, Caceres was landing. He was kicking well. He was moving well. He's really good footwork. I mean, all of a sudden, you have to give him a praise, because this is the type of fighter that all of a sudden started flourishing, right? He had how many in a row? Like 6, 7 in a row he won.
Something like that. 7 or 8 out of his 7 out of his last 8, I think.
And he was good. He looked good. He moved good. But I think the power was on Giga's side, and that was perhaps giving the visual to the judges. But I scored 29-28 for Giga, first and third for him. But I could see again. It can go 30-27 either way. It can go 29-28 either way. It was that close.
I thought second round. Yeah, I thought second round was clear for Giga. So maybe this was a harder fight to score.
It was really hard to score. I mean, the only way to score was probably on, because it was so close statistically.
Yeah.
And but Giga probably showed less than I expected.
Yeah, same.
As Caceres, I think, showed more than I expected, whereas Giga showed less. I don't think like Giga is ready for, let's say, Alex Volkanovski, or maybe I don't think he's ready for Max Holloway or whoever.
So,
I don't know.
Yeah, my I guess quick assessment of the fight, if I can. So what I saw was, first of all, I saw Giga Chikadze for the first 4 minutes of the first round. I thought I saw him being very tentative. He didn't look very confident. He didn't want to throw any hands. I don't remember him kicking a lot. And if he was, Alex Caceres was rotating him to the right, which was another thing, was Giga Chikadze never once tried to rotate to the left, which is his power side, right? Which, if he wants to land the right hand and the Giga kick that he always loves to land, he needs to be rotating to the left, which he didn't do. The second round, I thought Alex Caceres, Giga Chikadze, yeah, he had that big right hands, which won him the fight, won him the second round. And then the third round, I thought Alex Caceres just out-volumed him. But yeah, there was some, like you said, there was some visuals where Giga Chikadze would land the right hand and Alex Caceres was like, head would snap back. Another thing to mention is that after the fight, Alex Caceres did say that he broke his forearm from defending the first kick from Giga Chikadze. So, I mean, to barely, in my eyes, to barely win a decision against a guy who broke his arm in like the first minute, I don't see you doing well against anyone in the top 5. I think even Ortega was not I think he probably kills him. I think Yair, I think Tapuria, I think these guys all probably hurt Giga Chikadze, unless he he really picks up on the boxing and rotates. Also, he was crossing his feet. I don't know. Maybe he just
I
he
don't
didn't
know
like
why
the
he
style.
does that. I mean, he's a high level kickboxer. I mean, he fought in Glory, and maybe it's just a style. Maybe I mean, he
I don't know.
definitely
Maybe
knows what
maybe
he's doing. I mean, it's hard to tell, hard to
yeah.
criticize him. Maybe,
Maybe
mm,
he didn't fight for a while, or maybe we're just taking a lot from out. Maybe we're just not, maybe we're just kind of, I guess, not know how good Alex Caceres is, right? But thought it was
yeah.
an okay fight. Yeah, Giga Chikadze was really happy with the performance again. I thought he lost, but let's move on. This was Anthony Smith versus Ryan Spann. This was a rematch, right? I think Smith put him away in the first round. What was it? They fought almost a year ago. I don't remember exactly when they fought, but it was a split decision. I thought it was
It
clear
was, I
Anthony
think it
Smith
was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago this time.
Yeah, I thought it was a clear Anthony Smith win. I thought he won the first. I thought he won the third. Absolutely won this. Lost the second. Right. He Ryan Spann cut him with that left hand, kind of rocked him.
It was a
Had
hybrid
the
between an uppercut and a hook.
Yeah,
Like,
and you could
sort of-
tell right away the cut opened up. Anthony Smith's left eye swelled up. It really bothered him. But I mean, Ryan Spann, he's such a physical guy, but just continues to show low fight IQ.
and I don't want to like put an entire blame on him, because I could have swore I heard his corner yelling, "You're doing good, you're doing good." Saif Yusuf, I think, right?
Said Yasu Sayud, how is it? What's his name? Said? Saif Sayud.
Saif Sayud, yes, Saif Sayud. And I heard him yelling, "You're doing great, you're doing great, you're doing great." And I was like, what is he doing great? I mean, why the last 2 minutes of the second round, he just let him go. You know,
Yeah.
you had him on the ground. You had him on the, why did you, you know, either continue ground and pound, or when you stand up, why, I don't know, I was disappointed. I'm a big fan, Ryan Spann fan.
I like Ryan Spann, yeah.
um, I thought his fight with Nikita Krylov was a good fight. He was wild. I mean, and that's after a point that he's this time. I think his coaching staff did a good job, right? Basically, telling him to not go wild. That was a good base, right? There's just no crazy stuff. You have to, but the third round where it could be a questionable round, you have to step on the gas. The
Yeah.
second round, where there might be a possibility of putting him out, you
Yeah.
got put in the way. You have to step on the gas. Third round, he had to step on the gas. He was breathing well. Did you see, like, when they were? You could see, like,
Yeah.
Smith was more tired. He was visually more tired. Although he trains in Colorado, high altitude, but you could tell that he was visually more tired. And Ryan Spann, he was breathing fine.
Yeah.
So why, I have a problem with his coaching staff. I mean,
Another
they
thing,
could have.
yeah. Another thing, of course, we have to mention is the leg kicks, right? We know Anthony Smith does not like to be leg kicked. Um, why did Ryan Spann? I think they show on the graphic, right? He landed like 2 or 3 leg kicks. He threw only like 5. Why?
Yeah. Well,
I saw a stat that said in his last 13 fights he threw or landed like 3 kicks. Like,
yeah. And
why?
then Smith first started with that Muay Thai stance, right, to throw Ryan Spann off, kind of like he was
Yeah, but he started
doing
the
that.
same.
But then he kind of abandoned it. He did a little bit of that on the second. He did even less of that in the third. So there was definitely a possibility of there were definitely openings there in terms of leg kicks,
And
definitely.
and I
And,
don't think that Muay Thai stance it definitely helps. But if you remember, he came out with Johnny Walker. He came out with a Muay Thai stance, and after eating a couple leg kicks, he completely abandoned. Do you remember, like, was it Johnny Walker
yeah.
on Kalive, where he came out with the Muay Thai stance for literally like 5 seconds? He took one leg kick and then he just abandoned it. So Ryan Spann, yeah, definitely needs to either I don't know if he needs to change coaches, right? Because Safe Side is a very respectable coach. I don't know if you've ever watched any of his breakdown, but the guy definitely knows what he's doing. So I don't know if it's necessarily the camp or the corner or the gym's problem. I think it's just Ryan Spann kind of.
Yeah,
I
but
don't even know. I can't even give a reason, to be honest.
not taking anything away from Anthony Smith though. I don't want
Yeah,
to
he looked
like
sharp
all take
for sure.
he was. I mean, the first round he was good. He was throwing leather. He did well. He himself actually had a couple of low kicks, and
Yeah.
he did
He also had
excellent. I mean,
the
he
left hook I
showed
thought was
a lot of-
nice. The left hook,
yeah,
the jab, a couple of right hands were nice. Some body shots, some leg kicks, like you mentioned. Yeah, for sure. He
yeah.
was mixing up well.
He was mixing up really well. He was doing awesome. Yeah, that shows that like a lot of people wanted to write him off, but no, he's not ready to be written off. I mean,
Hey, I
he's
mean, I
better
wrote him
than
off. I wrote him off, to be honest.
no, he was awesome. I mean, and the heart on that guy, man, he I mean, I'm speechless. That was a good performance. I mean, given the injury he sustained in the second,
Yeah.
but Ryan Spann, yeah, I mean, definitely, damn, something
He has it though. He does
huge.
have
I
it.
mean,
I mean,
he has it. He has it. You have it, man. Almost, but
so we'll see. Hopefully, he goes back to the drawing board and really works on jiu-jitsu. I think he was a little slow, just a little slower than Anthony Smith. So hopefully, he works on that. But yeah, Anthony Smith, they're probably going to give him another top 15 guy. I don't think he's
I
definitely
mean,
not ready to go back up.
he's definitely got the size. He's got the power.
Yeah.
His stand up is pretty darn good. So he should be able to put it all together.
Yeah, but I think that's enough of that. Let's move on to the main event: Max Holloway versus Korean Zombie. Uh typical zombie fight, right? I mean, Max Holloway and him are Max Holloway kind of piecing him up for the first two rounds, and then Zombie's like, you know what, fuck it, let's go. Let's just slug it out, and whoever gets put out gets put out. And unfortunately, it's Zombie who gets put out. He retires.
Yeah.
But
After the first round, it looked more competitive. You know, like the odds prior to the fight were insane, right?
yeah,
And after the first round, you were like, no, you know, zombie is there. He's not, you know, he's still
giving
there.
us false hope.
Yeah. There were insane odds, whatever they were, and zombie all of a sudden like showed life, and it was he was in trouble in the first, right? If you remember, he was really in big trouble in the first.
Yeah, I think it was a left hook, right?
Yeah, he got dropped, and then Max Holloway started celebrating too early, but then
That was in the second round. You talking about? Yeah, with the right hand, like kind of like hit the ear in the second round when he dropped him, right? It was the second, yeah. So the first round, if you remember, they kind of like if you remember, Zombie rocked him, and then Holloway rocked him even worse. Like he didn't drop him. He kind of like buckled him, like the knees kind of gave out. And it was the second round where he dropped him with the right hand, and Max kind of wanted to walk off.
and then he went for the
Darce.
Dars, yeah.
Yeah, but Zombie like just it looked like he was out, but then right away he starts going for the legs. And the speed at which Max Holloway got the Darce, I was actually very impressed. I like blinked and there was a Darce that he set up, or Anaconda wasn't. But I thought that was something new from Holloway. I don't think we've ever seen him attempt a Darce or Anaconda, right?
I don't remember. I mean, I don't recall.
But yeah, in any case, right? Like, so Zombie survives that, and he kind of lost the second, and then the third round, yeah, like we said earlier, he just kind of he's like, you know what?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was
like
premature for him to do the do or die kind of thing. There was no urgency. I don't know what compelled him to do that. He just came out like a madman, and
I think, yeah, I think because he was losing the first two, he was just getting on point. So I think he just wanted to like, I don't think he wanted to get beat up for another 3 rounds. But man, I mean, the guy had a legendary career, right? I mean, think about all the guys he's not necessarily beat, but fought, right? He fought Aldo, Holloway.
He fought Aldo for the belt. Yeah.
Volkanovski. He fought Dustin Poirier. He's got awesome. The first guy to ever hit a twister. He's got knockout of the night multiple times. He fought legends like Frankie Edgar. So I mean, I'm a little upset, but at the same time, I thought
Yeah.
I thought it was time.
He would have probably even had a better career if it wasn't for the army. Remember, he took a break.
Yeah, it was the mandatory Korean service.
Yeah, mandatory military service. He took a break and then he came back. Oh,
Yeah.
Max Holloway doesn't need no introduction. Everybody knows Max. I mean, both phenomenal fighters. I mean, I'm glad we have these fighters in UFC who gift us every time they step on the octagon, and it's just such a pleasure to watch them. And I was upset. I almost teared up when Korean Zombie retired and all that music and the fans loving him. That was very 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 touching, man. That's and him crying in the octagon and
Yeah.
hugging this
The
team.
I
Well, that
Yeah.
was very touching.
Yeah.
I mean, too bad we I don't think we have anybody from that part of the world to take over. Maybe who's the closest? Maybe Song Yadong. I mean, I can't think of anybody else.
Song is not Korean, she's Chinese.
Yeah, but kind of Asia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm,
there's nobody else. I can't think of
probably
any.
Song is the closest. Yeah,
Yeah,
off the top of my head. I mean, Zhang obviously is there,
well, Li, yeah,
but
true.
as for the men,
We
yeah, Song is
have
probably the
we
closest.
have Iron Turtle, but he's not even in the top 15 for middleweight. So yeah, I can't think of anybody, unfortunately.
Yeah, I just wondering what where Max goes from here, right? Because he lost to Volk 3 times. Um, I mean, I saw people on Twitter saying like, what are the odds of Max Holloway versus Volkanovski a third time or fourth time? Sorry, I mean, it doesn't make sense anymore, right?
No, no, it doesn't make
I
sense.
mean, what are you gonna do? Just keep giving him Volkanovski until he finally beats him? But then what do? You have to do another rematch, right? Because it's not fair to Volk. So I mean, what are these guys? These guys are going to be fighting for forever, right?
Maybe go up a weight class. I don't know.
I would like, I would like to see Max Holloway versus. Um, it's hard to say Dustin because they already fought twice, but I wouldn't mind seeing a third fight, right? What do you think?
Oh, that would be an awesome fight. Yeah, that would
I
be
thought Max Holloway almost beat him that second time. It was very close.
that was cool.
Dustin Poirier obviously had like that size advantage, right? You could tell he had the power, but Max Holloway could have some fun fights. Like I think Fiziev and Max would be awesome fight up at 155.
A
Uh,
lot of good fights for him at 180, 155
but
for sure.
yeah, an amazing
Yeah,
call,
it's a
guys.
big mystery now. What's going to happen? I mean, the whole division, I think, is in kind of like. On one hand, there's things happening there. On the other hand, you got fighters like Cater, right? He's stuck. He's just he's no.
All I'm
Uh,
hoping is that they don't give. Sorry to cut you off. All I'm hoping is that they don't give,
CD.
I'm just hoping they don't give Max Holloway another contender, right? Like a Tapuri. I think they need to stop giving him contenders. Um, you get what I mean? Because
Yeah,
he beats them and then he takes away fights from Volkanovski, which like with the Arnold Allen. And I get you have to keep Max busy because he's still a fighter and people like him. But I don't think you give him like a Tapuria or you give him, someone else who's close to fighting for Volk. Um, but yeah, I thought it was a good card. A little sad, of course, because Zombie's my favorite fighter of all time in the UFC. I'm a big fan of him, his channel. I think he's awesome. So, yeah, I don't have really much else to say. So that's we're gonna wrap it up here, guys. I guess.
yeah.
Thanks for watching.
And
Keep a lookout. I think what's the next card? Is it that
the Gon, the Spivak fight.
uh, yeah,
Yeah.
the France card. So
Mm.
we're probably gonna do picks on that. So keep
Cool.
eye out for that. And yeah,
Yep.
thanks guys.
Yep.
All
See
right.
you next time.